I'm still laughing about Zombie's dad joke from yesterday. I just posted it I posted it recently, like this morning, on TikTok and Instagram. And I it's funny. If you haven't watched it, you got to go watch it. And I'll wait. I'm not waiting. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, also known as Friday Junior. And as AJ the Awesome says, good morning, Vietnam. I had to say it. He put it on screen. It is a movie reference that I do recognize, even though I understand that somebody else might not. So, but you know, anyway, good morning. I hope you're having a great day. I am having a great day so far. Things could always change, but I'm pretty confident that we're in a good place. We're going good places, and this will be yet another amazing success. You got to be. It's positive thinking. I'm still on a kick from the conversation I had yesterday with my buddy John, who is a motivational speaker, crash survivor, and an all-around amazing guy. If you would like to catch that episode, you can go onto YouTube and watch it. You can scroll back in our social media feeds and watch it. And you know what? It's a good watch. And I'm going to edit it and republish it because this was it. We went live. We went live and just did it with an audience, talking about stuff and things. But you know what? It's the second time he's been on the show, and every time I have an opportunity to chat with him, it is a good time. Why am I staring off onto the side here? I'm staring off here because I'm trying to load up the Vision Zero enforcement team spiel that I want to talk to you about, because Vision Zero enforcement team is out there in the community making a difference, one ticket at a time, changing driver behavior. Yes, they are, and we're going to cover where they are in just a second. First off, I want to let everybody know, if you're watching, well, thank you. And if you're watching, you're on one of these platforms. I'm just guessing. You could be on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, or the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. And X is okay, but you can't ask us questions. But if you go to youtube.trafficcop.ca, you can come join us here on YouTube, and then you can get the wide experience with the ability to ask questions. Whereas if you are on Instagram, and I'm pointing at the Instagram camera, you can't get the wide angle, but you can ask questions. So you got to figure out what version of us you want. That being said, back to the Vision Zero enforcement team spiel. They are out in the community making a difference right now. Yes, they've already started. They're not waiting for somebody to call them. They are there looking for those who choose to engage in behaviors that are known to lead to serious injury and death on our roads. They're in 31 Division and 53 Division today. Black Creek, Humbermead, Glenfield, Downsview, Lawrence Park, Young Eglinton, Rosedale, Leaside. Those are neighborhoods with real people who live, work, and play in our city and deserve to be safe when they do it. So if you would like to meet them, don't do it by way of, well, if you don't want to meet them, don't break the law. That's the easier way to go. And you know what? People don't realize, but we have all sorts of different vehicles at our disposal. And specifically that team, unmarked SUVs, unmarked pickup trucks, unmarked Chargers, cars of all kinds. You don't know who's watching, but you know how you find out? When the lights go on. And they light up like Christmas trees. They are very, very, I could say they light up like Hanukkah bushes, but it's not a good reference. Did anyone watch it was the Saturday Night Live that did the Hanukkah bush thing? Anyway, I always felt left out as the Jewish kid without a Christmas tree, so they made a Hanukkah bush for us. Anyway, Andrew McNaughton, who was here before the show started with Good Morning, following up, not sure if this is the right time, but got in early with a question, and we'll get to your question in just a second. We got good morning from Zombie. No, that's not Zombie's question. It updated and shifted, and there we go. Hang on. There we go. Morning. That's what I wanted to press that button. Zombie's wonderful joke. Thank you again for that. If you want to see the video I posted, it's on TikTok and Instagram. Hi and good morning from Stephen Bell. Greetings and salutations from the famed Akela Draconis. I, by the way, did not watch I'm assuming a new episode of Ahsoka came out yesterday. I have not watched it. That's either for tonight or tomorrow or the week. I don't know. I have to watch it. Let's see here. Chase has a question about Cadillacs and their autopilot stuff and things. We have got our official Brazilian fan watching. We've got Evan with good morning. And we've got, what is this? Lisk. I don't know how to pronounce. I need punctuation spaces, something to deal with your username, but I'm going to flag it and we'll come back to it in just a second. AJ the Awesome wants me to run for politics. We got here. Comments on the show with John. That Akela says that the show was very enlightening yesterday, and even Akela's son paid attention, and I think he was contemplating things. Again, so quick backstory: John Westhaver suffered burns to 75% of his body, and he was the lone survivor in a collision when he was just about to graduate high school. He was the only survivor. 3 of his friends died in that collision. Really remarkable person to have gone through what he went through, and to have turned out on the other side as being a motivational speaker and someone who just helps people. So that is, it's really, he is a shining example of the fact that life can give you bumps along the way, and you can overcome, and it doesn't matter what gets thrown at you, you can do it. And his story is wild. Okay, we got. Oh, okay. So that was a question about company car stolen. We'll go back to that in a second. Radar detectors, are they legal or illegal? Mississauga, Ontario wants to know. AJ does not want to go to his scheduled dentist appointment today and would like a police note to get out of the appointment. I don't think we can issue those. Nathan says good morning. Good morning to you. Big Jeff Fresh wants, what is this, wide angle? Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. We're flying. Can you tell me what we can drive a motor? Oh, can you tell me what AJ can drive a motorcycle on the road? We'll cover that in a second. And Tim Shallow says good morning. Good morning to you, Tim. Long time no talk. I think it was like yesterday. And okay. Anonymous says, what is it? Oh, okay. Questions. Yeah, I don't. That's so. The questions about Pride Parade and public nudity, not really my wheelhouse. We can chat a bit about it. What are the laws on Sur-on electric motorcycles? Okay, we'll talk about that. I know you said electronic bike, but it's a motorcycle. Coming back to, I think that's a good place to start. I flagged a whole bunch of stuff. Breathalyzer test fails. We can talk about that. G1 driver. Okay, well, that's definitely a good one to talk about. We've got more stolen vehicle stuff. Okay, mobility questions. Zombie liked the video. She checked it out on the other platforms. Awesome. Consequences of having a radar detector. Okay, we talked about that earlier. So, okay, what is the best memory? Oh, okay, questions about my experiences. Okay, 15 questions in the queue. And the first question is from Andrew McNaughton. Is it illegal to drive in the left-hand lane of a 4-lane street, or do you have to get over to the right-hand lane? In what context? 4-lane street, meaning 2 lanes in either direction, which means you can, if lanes 1 and lane 2 in a particular direction, do you have to be in lane 1 or lane 2? Like, what do you mean, Andrew? Maybe I'm not picking up what you're putting down. Do you mean 4 lanes in one direction? Like we're talking about a controlled access highway, like the 401. It's got, let's say 4. They've got more than 4 lanes, but can you drive in the left lane, or do you have to be in the right lane? Generally speaking, and this goes sort of for all roads, if you're moving slower, you should stay in the right. If you're actively passing, you could be in the left. If you're maintaining the flow of traffic, that isn't illegal. I'm not raising my voice to make a point to you, Andrew. I'm talking like to the ether, because so many people think that moving with the flow of traffic allows people to break the law. If everyone's speeding, you cannot speed legally. You would be breaking the law just like them. And could you all get tickets? Technically, yes, you're all breaking the law. Does it mean that we're not going to pull you over? We'll probably pull one lucky contestant over. We can't generally pull everybody over. It's just not feasible. But I pulled over multiple vehicles at one shot. Yeah. Chase has the comment or question. And by the way, if I didn't address what you were looking for, please rephrase it and let me know. So Cadillac's version of autopilot is called Super Cruise. It doesn't require any steering input. It just watches your eyes to make sure you are looking on the road. Legal to not touch the wheel. Yes, that one requires you to be focused on the road. It has a mechanism to ensure that you are engaged with the driving. And you may be required to take over, even though it's not specifically touching the wheel, whereas Tesla requires you to touch the wheel, at least in the last version that I test drove. Maybe they've got an iLead version as well. The Mustang, I believe the Mach-E, has a vision one. So regardless of how they ensure the driver is actively involved in the driving, because you are responsible and you must take over when it is required, you're responsible regardless. So it's not autonomous vehicle, it's assisted driving. But yes, it's illegal not to touch the wheel in that situation. It's not legal to take a nap, though. This is the stolen vehicle one. We had a company car stolen from Pearson Terminal 1 parking garage and found it in a parking garage 15 minutes from the airport. What do you suggest we can do to protect our cars? A little fluff floating around here. Trackers are great. There's aftermarket trackers. There's essentially what it sounds like is your vehicle was relocated to cool off, and then they were going to go back and get it later. The answer, again, is that you can put tracking systems in your vehicle that can be hidden. You can use something as simple as an AirTag, hidden disabling switches. Like if it's not a rental car, if it's something that only your employees would have access to, you could put a hidden kill switch in it. There are products that plug in and then require you to punch in a password by way of a keyboard combination on your dashboard, like press the volume up, volume down. It's like playing Super Mario Brothers or what was it called? What was it called? They just made a movie about it. What is it? Anyway, seniors moment for me. No offense to seniors. I'm just reaching an age where I now use that as an excuse if I can't remember something. And so there's different options. Fatal Cop. No, I can't remember what the bloody movie is. It's with the guy from Mortal Kombat. That's what it's called. Hey, it took a while. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you press the keyboard combinations to employ a hack. Well, anyway, this is the reverse for keyboard combinations to unlock your vehicle and allow it to be started, even if you have a key. Moving along. I know you had a follow-up question later. We'll get to it in a sec. Are radar detectors from Mississauga illegal in Ontario? I'm assuming you mean are radar detectors from anywhere illegal in Ontario, because Mississauga is in Ontario, but yeah, they're illegal. They're illegal. You cannot buy, sell, possess, transport, or use radar detectors in the province of Ontario. It is illegal. They can be manufactured in Ontario and exported out of the province. The only time they can be transported is when they're in an original sealed container being transported to a consignee. So you put it in a shipping container or package or skid or whatnot. It goes in a truck to its place outside of the province. Yes. What is... Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Oh, yeah, I wanted to deflag. Okay. What is the penalty for people make accidents and run away? Fail to remain collision. What is the actual fine? Okay. Let's look it up and read what it says, because reading what it says verbatim is better than telling you, a new version of the HTA. It takes 1 to 2. It's updating. Okay. Highway Traffic Act. Failed to remain. Let's see if it's that. Failed to remain. No set fine, which means you go directly to court. Arrest authority. 7 demerit points on conviction. And I'll read it verbatim. Well, I'm just going to say verbatim, but even this is like a not verbatim. Where an accident occurs. I don't like accident. It should be collision. Where a collision. See, I'm already updating it live. Where a collision occurs on a highway, every person in charge of a vehicle or streetcar that is directly or indirectly involved in the collision shall remain at or immediately return to the scene of the collision, render all possible assistance, and upon request give in writing to anyone sustaining loss or injury, or to any police officer or to any witness, his or her name, address, driver's license number, and jurisdiction of issuance, motor vehicle liability insurance policy, insurer and policy number, name and address of the registered owner of the vehicle, and the vehicle permit number. Now you wanted to know fines. Every person who contravenes this section is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable to a fine of not less than $400 and not more than $2,000 or to an imprisonment or to imprisonment for a term of not more than 6 months or to both. And in addition, the person's license or permit may be suspended for a period of not more than 2 years. $400 to $2,000, up to 6 months in jail and up to 2 years of suspension. That would be the penalty. Thank you for the question. Someone should make a platform that has a wide angle of X and the ability or the questionability of Instagram. Oh, wait, he's already there. Yes, YouTube really does answer the call of providing these options. Now, if you're on TikTok, we love you, but it actually doesn't directly work with our software either, which means that we need the magic of a moderator to come in and take your questions and make them available on this platform so we can put them on screen. So thank you to our moderator, who happens to be my wife today. And I appreciate your help, as always, because JD doesn't show up for work sometimes. Okay, he has a real reason, but he's not here. And what is this? You will be... Oh, I don't know what that is. What's an LZ event? I don't know what that is. But I got an update about one of the questions. So, yes, YouTube works. TikTok works because of the magic of moderators. But we're here, and we're here to answer your questions. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, and I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff every single day that I actually show up for work. Because sometimes, like JD, I got to take a day off too. And, where we're here to answer your traffic and police questions, to demystify the mystic arts of the Highway Traffic Act. And that means that I explain stuff and things when you have questions. And if you don't have questions, we'll talk about stuff I want to talk about. And often that's random stuff. Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me what age? I got to go back to Anonymous's Anonymous. Is it Anonymous? Why does that look wrong? Anonymous? Anyway. Yeah, we'll go back to your question in a second. So can you tell me what age I can drive a motorcycle on the street in Ontario? 16 years old. If you have a driver's license for a motorcycle and you have an insured motorcycle, 16 would be the age you can drive a car or a motorcycle with the appropriate license and insurance. So that's the answer. So this question was about, love your work, sir. I know this isn't your specialty, but I haven't gotten a clear answer. Why is it lawful to be nude in public for pride parades, even if youth are present? So I don't have an answer for you. I apologize to factor into it. I know that, at least I believe, that for that particular offense to be laid, I think you need the Governor General's authority. Like you have to have authority to lay that charge. So I'm unclear as to how it works, and I've never been in a position to lay that charge, so I never had to do the research. So I apologize. I don't know. This one I can talk about. This I can talk about. What are the laws on electronic bike Suron? Is it legal or illegal to ride? On private property, it's perfectly legal. Those bikes are not street legal. And I've had people argue up and down that they are bicycles and they're e-bikes. Harley-Davidson makes an electric motorcycle. It is an electric motorcycle. It needs license, ownership, and insurance. A Suron does not qualify in the province of Ontario as an electric bicycle. It is a motorcycle. It is one heck of a motorcycle, in fact. There was a model, I think it's the Super B. Hang on a second, Suron. Let's googly goo it. The Ultra B. Suron.ca. Okay, let me put it on screen. And I don't want to play the music because apparently I got a warning from YouTube that I had their music playing. So I'm not playing their videos. Thank you very much. Hey, what? Did this something different? Oh. Why did it do it differently today? Like for a week, it's been putting my, it's like, this is so weird. That's what it was. Okay. Anyway, I like this one more. See, things just change here on Restream, and they don't tell me nothing. The all-new 2023 Ultra B Ultra Performance for only $7,999 Canadian plus tax. So what does it do? Well, first of all, do you know any e-bikes that fly? It's a flying e-bike. Awesome. All right. 12.5 kilowatt peak power. 87 miles, 56 miles per hour top speed, 90 kilometers an hour. So right off the bat, 32 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed capable, or that an e-bike can be capable of doing on a flat surface in order to qualify as an e-bike. That means it cannot be capable of going faster. Well, we know it's capable of going faster. It's rated at 90 kilometers an hour. It's 187 pounds or 85 kilograms. So technically, it meets the weight requirement because it can be no more than 120 kilos. But that peak power is a real problem, 12.5 kilowatts, because it cannot have a motor more than 500 watts. Wow, that's more than 500 watts. Yeah. Well, there you have it. But I'm glad that it has a USB connection. That's cool. So it's a motor vehicle. It's a motorcycle. If you can get it licensed for the road, it would require a full motorcycle or a motorcycle license, an M-Class license to ride, along with everything. It also needs functional pedals. It does not qualify any which way you put it. I've spoken to people who have them, who were told they were legal. They were lied to. Okay. Here's a question. If a breathalyzer test fails and back at the station you pass, can your license be suspended for 3 days? So if you get a roadside screening device fail, which means at the side of the road you had more than 0.05 BAC, blood alcohol content, you are not legal to drive. You would get a 3-day suspension. You'd be arrested because it's a WARN 0.05 that gets you the 3-day suspension. If you are then at the station and you pass, you're being less than 0.08. You don't get charged criminally. Would you get a 3-day suspension? That's a scenario that I've never seen. Usually, you're either going to be fail, you're done, and you're getting arrested, and you. Let me ask the question to the knower of things, because I don't have an answer for you. Hold on a second. Is this him? Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. If you fail a roadside not fail a breathalyzer, feel a lot of pressure with you staring at me while I type. And you get a 3-day ADLS. Inquiring minds want to know. We'll come back to this. Okay. What happens if a G1 driver caught driving accompanied by a G2 driver who owns the vehicle? Bad things happen. Bad things happen for both of the parties. One, the G1 driver gets a ticket for G1 unaccompanied, $110, 30-day suspension on conviction for the first conviction. Second conviction, 90 days. Third time it happens, you are kicked out of the driving program. Bada bing, bada boom. The person who owns the car sitting beside you and let you drive gets a ticket under the Highway Traffic Act for permitting someone to drive in contravention of their license, a condition of their license. So you both get tickets. Happy days. Okay. Follow-up question about stolen vehicles. We also uncovered 3 to 4 other stolen cars in the same parking garage. We found our company vehicle, informed police, waited 8 hours for police to come. Why so long? Why so long? Because it's a low priority. You have the vehicles. There's no bad persons in sight. The vehicles are not going anywhere, and we have people who are armed and dangerous, or assaulting people, or things that are higher priority in terms of our order of operations. Math has order of operations, so does policing. Highest risk to safety first, and a car that needs a report completed last, sadly. Or there may be something even lower than that, but in terms of trying to create a picture for you as to priority. Okay. If you have mobility issues and require an electric wheelchair, are you always committing impaired operation when drinking? No. If you are talking about a wheelchair, you are considered a pedestrian in a wheelchair. If you're talking about a mobility scooter, vroom vroom, mobility scooter, they don't actually sound like that. Just saying. If you're talking about a mobility scooter, you could be charged for impaired operation. That is a vehicle, a motor vehicle, according to the Criminal Code of Canada, whereas a wheelchair has an exemption. So don't drink and mobility scoot, or skateboard with an electric skateboard, or use an e-bike. Those are all motor vehicles under the Criminal Code of Canada. Anything other than muscular qualifies, except for a wheelchair. What is the consequence of having a radar detector? Follow up from the previous question, and that is a simple one. It's 100, and I keep messing this up, 180, 170. It's a fine of not less than 170 and not more than 180. Let's see here. Radar. 170. I don't know why I confused it. And 3 demerit points, yes. Stop, search, and seizure authority. That is the answer. That is a consequence. Well, actually, there's more consequence to that. There's an actual financial impact. There's a potential increase. So I'm sorry. All right, because that's the set fine. But if you take it to court, you could see other things happen. Questions about the best memories I have. That's a fairly reoccurring question. Let's see here. This is the follow up. I got the text back. If you fail the roadside to the station and blow under but over 50, you still get the 3, 7, or 30-day, depending on the first offense. So yes, I see. I never ran into this. I've always had people fail, and fail. But breathalyzer test fails. Back at the station, you pass. You get your license suspended for 3 days on the first time. If you get it a second time in 10 years, you get 70. If it's the third time in 10 years, it's 30. If that's my understanding. Thank you. That's awesome. I love it when a plan comes together. Television show reference. I don't know does anyone know what that was? Comment in the comments, and make the comments if you know the comments. Let's have a look. There's a question here from NHL 14 Freak. Can you call 911 while driving to report someone you think is DUI? Yes, and legally you can do that even if you don't have Bluetooth or headphones. You can just pick up your phone and make a report, because that is an emergency. That is an emergency situation where the actions of that driver could put others in harm's way, aka they could hurt someone real bad. It's illegal, and absolutely you'd be justified in using your phone. It is an exemption under the Highway Traffic Act to allow you to do that. We acknowledge that it's not safe, but getting that other person off the road is a priority. Same as if you were calling for help or lots of reasons. So an electric wheelchair is not a conveyance. Under the criminal code, there's an exemption for wheelchair. You are classified as a pedestrian. What is this? iPhone 15 releases tomorrow. What do you mean? It was releases, or I think Monday people put orders in. What is it? What is the LZ event? Okay. Starting to flag some more questions. Are people who wear a head covering for religious reasons exempt from wearing a helmet on a motorcycle? We'll talk about that in a second. And by the way, I was going to buy an iPhone 15. I think I'm going to stick with my iPhone 14 for a little while. I've made some big purchases recently, and I want to not spend $3,000 on a new phone. But I am going to go on vacation. That was a big purchase. Zombie had to correct or to share. Hang on one second. I need water. I have coffee in front of me, but I want water. Okay. Haha. I made a coffee and I'm staring at it, but I'm not drinking it. Can you get traffic tickets if you're younger than 16? Yes. And even if you don't have a license, we'll create a license number for you. You'll get the license number that you would have received had you actually become licensed. Will be issued. It'll be your ID number for life, and that will be where we charge you, and all the consequences would be yours, even if you don't have a license, even if you're underage. Can I pull over a police officer for speeding? I'd love to talk to you about that. So many people have opinions about police, and it is good to educate them about what the actual rules are. Mortal Kombat Street Fighter. Was it Street Fighter? I think it was Mortal Kombat. Maybe it was Street Fighter. Can I turn right in front of a bus that's taking on passengers? We'll talk about that. The confirmation from Andrew was 2 lanes in each direction, 2 going north, 2 going south. Okay, so I think I covered it. This is a good question. In what age kids allowed in front passenger seat of cars to sit? The answer is there is no restriction, but the professionals in the industry, the doctors, the safety people, they say that you go and you keep them in the back seat until the age of 14 because that's what's safest. So, back seat is best. But legally, they can sit anywhere, and whether they sit in a child seat or in the seatbelt is determined by other rules. Question of what does early resolution do in OIPRD cases? I have no idea. I've never dealt with an OIPRD investigation or case personally. OIPRD is an organization that polices the police. It's a civilian organization where people complain. I don't know what is eligible or what can happen in an early resolution scenario in that process. I can tell you that if you go to early resolution in a traffic ticket situation, you would have the opportunity to speak to a prosecutor and possibly catch a deal, right? They might say, well, if you are willing to accept this offense in lieu of the offense you were charged with, a reduced fine, possibly fewer demerit points, this is traffic we're talking about, then you could take that deal and not have to proceed. Yeah, I would assume similar things would happen here, but I don't actually know. Okay, follow-up questions on Suron. So iPhone 15 is that this is the actual first day people can actually get the phone in their hands. Very cool. Can we go in the HOV lane on the QEW with a bike? Well, I should qualify what you mean by bike. If you mean motorcycle, then HOV lanes in the province of Ontario that are truly for Highway 400 series allow for motorcycles to be solo. I assume the QEW would be the same, but I'd look that up. Why don't I just look it up for you? Hang on. QEW HOV motorcycle. Yes. Hang on. It says here, high occupancy vehicle lanes are designated blah, blah, blah. It doesn't actually say blah, 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 blah. But I could swear it included both. Some HOV lanes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, but there's also hot lanes, the high occupancy toll lanes. Different situation. Let's see here. I'm looking for something that's like really clear. Where is the clarity? I got to come back to it. I don't want to dwell on it, but 400 series, I can tell you for sure. At QEW, it's unclear and may have different rules, but I want to confirm that for you rather than send you there to get a ticket. Okay? Can you make a double right turn if it's not marked for that? Do you mean make a right turn from a lane that isn't a right turn lane? No, not when it comes to designated. So if you have a designated right turn lane and the next lane over is a through lane, you cannot make a right turn on that. That would be an improper right turn. Okay. Scrolling back. Eric Elvidge wants me to revisit the Suron topic. We'll come back to that in a second. Are license plate tint illegal? It is not legal. You cannot tint your license plate. You cannot cover your license plate with anything. Tint, clear, frames, nothing. The best question ever is, how do I ask a question? Sorry. Okay, let's see. You did. You just asked a question. Okay. We're going back here. Lots of questions coming in. By the way, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, and I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff all the time. You can ask questions here. We're doing this until 11 o'clock-ish. At 11 o'clock, stop taking new questions. Old questions I'll do my best to get through, but I do have some stuff and things to do this afternoon. I've got appointments, interviewing people about other stuff and things. Okay. Suspended license questions. Someone says hello to Leo wife. Actually, Leo wife responded. Okay. Potential charges for driving on a sidewalk. Oh, there's so many because you're driving a motor vehicle on a sidewalk. There's a bunch of charges for. Don't do that. But yes, there are potential charges. If you were looking for a list of them, I'm not going to do a deep dive because there's going to be bylaw charges. There's going to be I'd probably go with careless drive. Like, there's so many. Are we talking speed? Are you talking walking? There's potentials for all sorts of things. Like, it's one of those what ifs that has a million. Where do I submit questions? You keep asking questions in the place that you have to submit questions. That's question 2, I think, unless it's the same one I put twice. Oh, it was the same. Yeah. Okay. Is there a limit to Mary Jane while driving, like alcohol, or are you done driving as soon as you hit it? If you're impaired by drugs, you're impaired. Is there a limit into the system? It's to be determined that you're impaired. So if you are feeling the effects of it, you're impaired. I think that's fair to say. There's a buccal swab testing system to test if you have more than 0. We have drug recognition experts that would evaluate you and determine whether or not you have enough to be what you have and if you're impaired. We would do a roadside. We could do a roadside sobriety test to determine impairments. At the end of the day, don't have it in your system if you're operating a motor vehicle. Simple as that. Okay. I recently fractured my arm. We'll talk about that in a second. You keep saying clear plate covers are illegal. Okay. Okay, we'll talk about that. Dr. Nick wants clarifications as to how I keep saying that it is illegal to cover your plates. We'll talk about that. A-Team, best show ever. Yes, and that was the reference. Of course you would get it. Municipal speed camera. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, I think we've covered all of these. Like flag them so I can go back to them now. The celery joke I think we talked about yesterday. Okay, all right. If I missed you, I apologize in advance. I've done my best to try and catch them all. So the first question was wearing where did I lose my? There it is. It's hiding under the microphone. Are people who wear head coverings for religious reasons exempt from wearing helmets on a motorcycle? You've said religious reasons, and I have to specify if you are a practicing member of the Sikh faith and wear a turban as part of your, what is the word I'm looking for? Practicing of the faith, then you would be exempt. But it's specifically the Sikh faith, and it's specifically a turban, and it's not that you just chose not to wear a helmet. It's not that you have a head covering requirement of another religion. It's specific to that of the Sikh faith, as I've understood it to be. I don't believe that any other faith is covered. Yeah. This one I found quite entertaining. Can I pull over a police officer for speeding? Oh, okay. And before I go to that, Adam LZ is a person. He's having a huge car show, drift event in Toronto. Okay. And the question was, will I be there at the Adam LZ event? I wasn't aware of it until it was just brought to my attention. I won't be at the event, but I can't say that other police officers might be. I don't know. Is it a permitted event? Are you legally there? Are you going to get shut down? Are you being investigated for it? I don't know. But I know nothing about it. Now, going back to police officers being pulled over for speeding, police officers are legally allowed to speed. You'd be getting into some very interesting conversations if you tried to pull one over. If you had lights and sirens on your car, you'd be charged. But no, you can't pull over a police officer for speeding. You have no legal authority to do that. Police officers, again, legally permitted to exceed the posted speed limit as part of their lawful execution of their duties. That could be responding to a call with lights and sirens. That could be responding to a call without lights and sirens. That could be driving around looking for speeders, cell phone users, seatbelt wearers. Like, it could be anything. We are not required to stay below the speed limit, but everybody else is, well, except for fire and ambulance, who are also exempt. However, they have different conditions as to when they can exceed the speed limit and use lights and sirens and so on. But police have the widest, I think, open-ended lawful execution of their duties title to permit it. If you do successfully pull someone over, that's a police officer or anyone, I would expect that you would get into a lot of trouble. Can I turn right in front of a bus that is taking on passengers? So if you're turning right from a non-turn lane, so there's a right turn lane that the bus is currently in, and you're crossing in front of it, that's an improper turn. It's against the law. If you can make a safe lane change into the turning lane and then turn right onto the other street from the proper lane, that would be legal. But why can't you wait 30 seconds? How much of a rush are you in? Yeah. Talked about front passenger seat already. What is the legal exhaust decibel in Ontario? My understanding is 74 decibels is the maximum for a motor vehicle. That's what I've been told by mechanics. I don't have any other reference to that. My frame of reference would be if it's loud and obnoxious and I can feel it and hear it and everybody else is doing the same thing going, what's wrong? That's going to be unnecessary noise. Yeah. And you can have a brand new stock vehicle that does not sound like anything. Like, it's silent when it's idling, but you decide to do 40 kilometers an hour at red line. Unnecessary noise will be the ticket I lay for you, in addition to whatever else I can lay. If you have a modified muffler that is not muffling, it could be an improper muffler. If you have no muffler, you also get a charge for no muffler. If you've it's all pretty straightforward. And motorcycles have an additional charge if you idle at 92 decibels or more. In the city of Toronto, it's a $500 fine. There is a bylaw specific for motorcycles. I wish it was for all vehicles, because I find that, oddly enough, motorcycles get the most trash talk about how loud they are, and yet it's cars, very often modified cars, that are louder. I mean, obviously a motorcycle when wound up and speeding is going to be like leagues louder, I think. But at idle, yeah, I think cars are generally louder. Anyway, moving on. Okay, no, that's the one I wanted to put. Can you please revisit the Suron topic and tell us about the Light BX? Are they legal with pedals? No. Pedals do not stop it from having a 12.1 megawatt motor, from having a maximum speed of 90 kilometers an hour. Pedals do not change a thing. They are a requirement in addition to all of the other requirements. The requirements, again, under 120 kilos, no more than 500 watts maximum motor, having a maximum capable speed of 32 kilometers an hour. That does not mean you put an elastic band over the throttle so it doesn't go further. It means it cannot be capable of going more than 32 kilometers an hour. It must also have functioning pedals, which are not like Velcro on pedals. They have to be able to drive the vehicle. And that's it. But Surons are very cool, very impressive, and totally not legal. Now, they do have VINs. I believe that you could register that vehicle in some jurisdictions for road use if it met the criteria. I don't have it on screen anymore, otherwise I'd read further. But it definitely is not street legal in Ontario at the moment. I say at the moment because I do not think that there's any plan to make them legal. Who knows what the future holds. And then a follow-up from Eric is, if I'm going 30 kilometers over the posted limit on the bike path, what? If I'm going 30 kilometers over posted limit on the bike path on my bicycle, can I be charged with stunting? Stunting requires you to go 40 kilometers an hour over the posted speed limit. That is, if it's under 80 kilometers an hour, or 50 kilometers an hour if it's over the limit on, 50 kilometers an hour over a speed limited that is posted 80 or above. So, yeah. But here's the thing. If it's a bicycle, truly a bicycle, there is no speeding offense for bicycle. So no, you could not. You could, on a bike path, get a speeding ticket that is not a speeding ticket, but as a bylaw ticket for doing over 20 kilometers an hour, period, because a bike path, not a cycle lane, not a cycle track on the road, but you're talking about a bike path in a city park, 20 kilometer an hour, it doesn't matter what vehicle you're on, car, bicycle, skateboard, You cannot go over 20 kilometers an hour. There's a bylaw for that, different than an HTA speeding. There's no stunt anyway. So long story short is don't speed or go over 20 kilometers an hour or use bike paths with e-bikes and do fat. I don't know. You can also get a careless charge. There's a bunch of things you can't actually do. What happened to the studio mini fridge? It's in my old studio down the hall. I haven't moved it over, but there is a studio mini fridge. And it's got really, really almost icy cold bubbly in it. Bubbly being bubbly tonic water-ish, whatever that is. I don't know why I buy that stuff. It doesn't actually taste like pineapple. It's got like the odor of a pineapple. It doesn't really taste like pineapple. It kind of tastes like, I don't know what it tastes like. It's not very good. And I keep buying it. Would your insurance rate go up? Would your insurance rate go up as a G2 driver if you get your first speeding ticket, say, for example, 95 and an 80? Could. It's up to the insurance provider. Listen, you're under scrutiny as a new driver. And if you can't figure out how to stay under 80 and an 80, you probably shouldn't be driving. And I say that with love. I do. I don't know why nobody can, it's like nobody can follow the law. There's like an allergy to speed limits. I do the speed limit all the way to work. I do the speed limit all the way home from work. I do the speed limit all the way around everywhere I drive. It drives people crazy, but they're the ones who are wrong. And if they have a bad day because of it, well, so be it. But if you get a ticket, it could very likely affect your insurance. So, question from the Chase. And the Chase wants to know about driving whilst suspended. So let's talk about it. What are the penalties? Suspension. See if I can find it easily. Driving while under suspension, no set fine. Authority, arrest, and seizure. Every person who drives a motor vehicle or streetcar on a highway while his or her driver's license is suspended under the act of the legislature or regulation made thereunder is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable for first offense, a fine not less than $1,000 and not more than $5,000. For each subsequent offense, to a fine of not less than $2,000 and not more than $5,000, or to both for a term of not more than 6 months or to both. Imprisonment. Did I say imprisonment? Yeah, you can go to jail for up to 6 months each time. And I think that what they need to do is chuck people in jail a lot sooner than they do now. I don't think that people are I don't think jail is used often enough. And people, therefore, don't think it's a reason, like they think it's a reasonable risk. It's only money. You can make payments on that. Okay, you keep saying clear plate covers are illegal. Is that what the law specifically says, or is that just my interpretation or your interpretation? Because that's what I'm reading verbatim. How can I get an obstruct plate charge if I have a glass plate cover window? You can get an obstruct plate charge glass cover window because it creates a reflection. Because it takes the bumpy raised and lowered areas of the plate and covers them with a reflective surface, which then makes it less legible. You cannot cover your plate at all. And it doesn't say what I've just said. That is absolutely based on experience, interpretation, court proceedings, I guess case law would be the proper way to say it. We have gained convictions for it. Everything in the HTA is said, and then everything else is not said. And a combination of what is said and not said becomes applicable in terms of the way we enforce law. We lay the charge, and then you can go have a conversation in court to argue it. And then when you argue it and have a finding, well, that's when you develop new case law, and that is different than withdrawn. Withdrawn doesn't really create case law, does it? Like if they just withdraw because they have no reasonable prospect of conviction or they decide to give you a break, we don't create law based on that. It's based on decisions that are shared after the outcome of a trial. Okay. Can you tint your headlights or taillights? No. Your headlights cannot, very specifically, and for Dr. Nick, says you can't tint, it says it. For taillights, it says they have to be effective, discernible at 150 meters, and that is to be able to say that you see the light and you can clearly see the indication between the second stage of applied brake light from the running marker light, if that's the proper title. Anyway, you can't do that. And why would you want to? to see less by restricting light or changing its color. Oh, but yeah, that's another thing. You can't change. You can only project white or amber to the front. You can only project red or yellow amber to the rear. So if you're doing anything other than that, you're going to get charged as well. Improper headlights, taillights, and whatnot. I see white municipal speed camera signs located on the right side of some roads. What are they? They are the required in most jurisdictions in Ontario. I would say, I say most because I don't know if all, maybe it's all. Whenever we use speed measurement signs or red light cameras, we have to put a sign up stating that they are there because we give warnings to everybody so they don't feel bad when they get caught. Or we can really say, hey, we even warned them and they still broke the law. That's how out to lunch they are. But that's what it is. Municipal speed camera sign means that there's a municipal speed camera that is going to do photo radar and catch you speeding if you speed. Here's one that I somehow scrolled past. Recently fractured my arm. Sorry to hear that. And I'm on a sling. Also, sorry to hear that. Can I drive legally? Can you drive with one-handed in general? Yes, you can. If you are unable to drive safely, however, and cause a collision, that will likely make its way into a report. So you have to be able to justify, and this assumes you don't have any medical suspension from your driver, from your doctor, I should say, and that the doctor has not instructed you not to drive. If they said don't drive a motor vehicle and you choose to drive a motor vehicle, guess what lawyers you're going to see in your medical notes? Notes from the doctor that they told you not to drive. That is going to look really, really bad when you are suing somebody or being sued. Just saying. Okay. How long does a ticket stay on file? Tickets in our record are forever. We see all your stuff. Convictions stay for 3 years after conviction. Points stay for 2 years from the date of the offense after a conviction. Yes. All right. That's why I was avoiding the coffee. It's terrible. Maybe it tastes better when it's hot. It does not taste good now. Is lane splitting or filtering legal? No, not in Canada. I say not in Canada because there is not one province that I'm aware of that permits it. It is careless driving, stunt driving, or criminal dangerous driving, depending on the observations made by an officer. So yeah, don't do it. It's bad. Can I tint my taillights? We covered that. This is a question I'm just reading from Instagram, and the answer is no. What is stunt driving in city versus highway? Stunt driving, I covered it, but I'll cover it again for you, that it is doing 40 kilometers. Well, there's a bunch of things. So donuts and burnouts and drifting and wheelies, those are all stunt driving. Marked departures from if you're basically zipping through traffic and accelerating quickly when other traffic is not, that can be stunt driving. Racing, those are all not having somebody in the trunk, not being in the driver's seat when driving. Those are all stunt driving. But the most commonly referenced stunt driving triggers are 40K over a posted speed limit under 80, 50K over a posted speed limit 80 and over, and 150 anywhere. And that is the answer to your question. Okay. Do cops see your record from the start? Yes. Regardless of the 3-year period, absolutely. We see everything forever and ever and ever and ever. Even before you were licensed, we'll see your very first interaction with police in relation to the MTO. Can I get a speeding ticket in a school zone traveling 50 kilometers an hour when school is out in the summer months? Yeah. If it's posted speed limit is 50, it's a school zone, and the speed limit doesn't change just because school's out. It's the speed limit. There are conditional speed signs. Like there's one that says, it's 50 but 40 when flashing. If it's not flashing, it's 50. So it's whatever. But whatever the posted sign is what would be enforced. Is G2 considered a full license overseas? G2 is a conditional license. It is a probationary license, but it is a license that's accepted elsewhere. And generally speaking, it's considered a full license. You do, however, have to fulfill the conditions of your license whilst driving. So if you are in the United States and it says no blood alcohol content or zero blood alcohol content, that means you have to have zero BAC, or your license would be you would be in breach of a condition, and they can see that stuff, or at least in the United States they can. When you say overseas, I don't know what the police service in the area that you would be in and what they can see. But yeah, for the purposes of driving, you don't have any conditions outside of the alcohol and if it's the first year, conditions of people between 12 and 5 a.m. In your vehicle. Can you have red and blue strobe lights in your car if you don't use them? Is that the question? Is that what I just read? I love the question. Thank you so much for sharing that question. Somebody asked if this is our tax dollars at work paying me to be on TikTok. Yeah, as a traffic and police educator, answering and serving the public because the public's on TikTok. I love these questions. I love comments that are, they're trying to be big and bold and say, "Oh my gosh, you're playing." This is not playing, my friend. I am being paid to do it, and for a very good reason. We would normally go to special events, barbecues, car shows, trade shows, and I would speak to, I don't know, a few hundred people, maybe 1,000 people would walk by, and a handful would come by and ask a question. We've been doing this for over 2 years. There's currently, we've had 3,000 people in this chat. We used to have like 40,000 people in this chat, but I guess we've educated so many people, they don't need to hear the same answers again. So these are replayed forever and ever, and it's a library of knowledge that we provide for everybody. And if you don't think it's worthy, don't be here. But for everybody else, we're here for you. Let's see here. Someone passed me and I got the red light pretty much the same. Hang on a second, we'll do that. Is it hard to get hired as a police officer? It is a competitive process, but it's a good time to get hired now. How many tickets have been given out to pedestrians when they break the law? Lots. I don't know specifically. I don't track that. But I've given lots of tickets to pedestrians. I've charged pedestrians who were hit by cars for walking out in front of a car. We charge pedestrians when they're responsible. The Grinch loves the questions about being paid. I do too. I find it interesting and entertaining when people are ignorant to the benefits of what we're doing here. They see it as playing and not meaningful, but it's meaningful. And I meet people on the street all the time who come back and say, because of your stream, I got my license, or you helped me get my license, or you made me a better driver, safer. I really understand the law better now. I'm so much more confident on the road now. There's tons and tons of positive feedback that I get from the show, both by letters to the chief and to the service, in-person meetings. We do this on the radio. We do this on television, outside of just TikTok. And for the person who was making that comment on TikTok, we're also on. I'll put it on the screen so it's easy for you because the pictures help some people. Let's see here. We're also on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and X simulcasting. Yes, we are. We play that way. It's good. It really, we're hitting as many people as possible every single day. Are early resolution meetings for speeding tickets done online or actual court? I don't know what they're being. I think they used to be done in person. I don't know what they're being done, and I imagine they're doing it in a blended way. Can a cop park in wheelchair parking and no parking zone when getting fast food? I would say that would be really, like, in terms of wheelchair parking, I would say that is incredibly insensitive and wrong. When it comes, if it was to go to a call for service, like an emergency call, absolutely they can. If it's to get fast food, no parking zone, yes they can. Wheelchair parking, no, they even if they can, they shouldn't. The concept of why no parking, we are constantly working. We don't take a lunch and say, that 911 call, that emergency broadcast coming over the radio, somebody else can get it. I'm on lunch. No, they take us off our lunch and we have to run to service. So if a police officer parks in an area to give them the quickest route to get their coffee, a drink, or whatever necessity, or use the bathroom, whatever it is, and have the quickest route back to their vehicle to respond to that emergency call should it come, that's reasonable. You wouldn't want the officer who is coming to save your life walk 3 blocks to the closest legal parking spot before they respond to your call for service. Do you see how that works? 11 o'clock, no new questions. In fact, I because I have an appointment. Wait, I want to confirm, when is that appointment? I think it's now or nowish. Someone's coming into the office to meet me because we're doing an in-person interview. In fact, this entire afternoon is stacked with interviews because I do that kind of thing. They're not investigative interviews. They're interviews for other stuff. I feel like yesterday set the bar too high. Which one is it? Are we talking about jokes? Okay. There may be another comment that I don't understand. We got, I am a new permanent resident with a driving license, 8 years old, and an authenticity letter. What should I do in Ontario to get a Canadian license? First of all, congratulations on achieving PR status. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Ontario, if Ontario is where you are. It's not a Canadian license. It's a provincial license. So Ontario is where I am and where maybe you are. At which point, you would apply to the Service Ontario location, and they would review your authenticity and 8 years experience. And depending on where you're from, they may or may not accept it 100%. And what I mean by that is that you can be credited some or all of your experience. You can get a straight trade depending on certain countries. Otherwise, they may give you an acceleration opportunity where you can take your G2 and your G license testing without having to wait the 2 years in between. So it depends, but definitely contact the Ministry of Transportation via Service Ontario. You can check out their website. In fact, if you go to trafficcop.ca, you can go to my link tree and there's information for newcomers right there on the page, down at the bottom of the page for new information or useful links. Okay. Can you make a right turn at the same time as a left turn? You can't hit each other. You both have to be able to complete the turn. If you're turning into a single lane, you have to be able to make the turn safely. Person making the right turn would have priority over the person making the left turn. Person crossing another lane of traffic they'd be number two. But either way, you're both responsible for completing your turn safely. Oh, goodness. Signaling on roundabouts. You have to signal out. You don't have to signal in. You have to yield to those that are in. Those that are in have the priority. But that's the thing. You signal your exit, you follow the road in. All right. Oh, we went there. What happens if someone died and they have previous driving tickets? I guess they don't go to court. Yeah. You notify the court, you provide a death certificate, they'll stop harassing you with mail. Okay, someone passed me on a red light. Someone passed me and I got the red light pretty much at the same time, even because I was going the speed limit. Sorry? Someone passed me and I got the red light pretty much at the same time, even because I was going. I have no idea, Stephen, what you're talking about. Did you run a red light? Oh, someone passed you and you got to the red light pretty much at the same time. Yes. Now I understand. It was me, not you. I thought you were talking about red light cameras. I don't know why, but whatever. Yeah, that's the thing. People speed because they think they're going to get somewhere faster, and then they don't because they're being silly. That's what it is. They are going faster. They're putting themselves at risk, and they're not getting any benefit because ultimately they're getting to where you're going at the same time. So the question earlier was, is it hard to get hired as a police officer? How long does the process take to become one? Depends on where you are in the hiring cycle. For you, it's the beginning. But for us, if we have a class going in, you would be waiting likely. If you're a late addition, because the process is fairly lengthy, you would probably be waiting even longer because they're dealing with all the active applications, getting that class done, and then they will start fresh ones. That's how I understand it to occur. And it depends. So it could be, I've heard of people who are like 2 weeks and they get hired because it just works out that they can get all their ducks in a row. You have to have all the testing and everything done in advance. You have to be a clear, for it to be the perfect storm, it has to be all of your ducks in a row. I don't think that's something you would bank on. I would say 6 months usually to get from application is the average. And then the process once you're in is going to the police college, pre and post Elmer itself. And then once you graduate, get your badge and your gun and get on on the road with a coach officer. You got 10 weeks of training. It's a long process and it's a good one. Zombie says they don't go to court. Oh, Morocco. Fantastic. And as my wife says, praying for Morocco. It is a horrible stuff going on with the tragedy there. It was the earthquake. It was the earthquake, right? Yeah. Okay. The Hamilton. Okay, we'll talk. Kel, I'll reach out to you after about Hamilton. I didn't realize that this weekend is the police memorial. I'm supposed to be in Ottawa on Sunday, and Saturday won't happen because I got a major event on Saturday. It's like epic proportion major event, presidential escort. Not exactly presidential escort, but yeah, it's very important. Let's see here. I have some pin stuff. Okay, so I totally missed this earlier. Said I was going to talk about it. What is see ya, Maud. My wife has got to go. She has stopped volunteering as a moderator. What is the best memory on the force you have? There are so many. And I always talk about, the thumbs up that I gave a kid at a stoplight when I was in a police motorcycle, heading towards the station. And that is a standout one. It just was really good. But there's so many good ones and so many tragic ones. I've lost track. It's been almost 24 years of awesomeness so far. And every day's a new day, but there's so many good ones. I just don't have one that one keeps popping into my head because it's an easy one for me to talk about. But there's been tons of good ones, and there's tears and sad stuff and happy sad stuff, and it's just Okay, dad joke time because time is done. I got to get ready for this interview. First one is dad joke from Zombie, who will likely never be able to outdo her joke from yesterday, which was stupendous. What is the busiest day for a chiropractor? Let's try this with reading it properly. What is the busiest day for a chiropractor? Throwback Thursday. Yeah, it's not as good as yesterday's. Yesterday's was fantastic. I have not read these for a while. So these are the ones from a calendar that my wife bought me, and now she's left so I can talk about them. I heard a photographer was killed in a freak accident when a large wheel of cheddar landed on her. To be fair, the people who were being photographed did try to warn her. Is this me not being able to read today? I heard a photographer was killed in a freak accident when a large wheel of cheddar landed on her. To be fair, the people who were being photographed did try to warn her. Does that make any sense to anybody else? Because it's not making sense to me. Is that a joke that anyone gets? Because I don't get it. Anyway. Yeah. Some of these jokes. Oh! Ha! I didn't get it. Everybody yelled cheese. Now I get it. It's far funnier now. I did not get it. Okay. I should have got it. Cinderella is not a great soccer player. She's always running away from the ball. These suck. And apparently I can't read today. Where does a mansplainer get his water from a well, actually? Again, I don't mansplainer. I watched a documentary about people walking on hot coals. It was soul destroying. It's really stink. My daughter's teddy bear is never hungry. It's always stuffed. That one is better, but still sucks. This is the one for September 18th. What happens when the average number of bullies in schools goes up? The mean increases. Crappy, but I get it. Okay. Dad, will you make a sandwich? No, Dad, will you make me a sandwich? Poof, you're a sandwich? Oh my God, these are groaners. Wednesday's joke. I got fired from my job at the bank today. An old lady came in and asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. Funny and mean and also not good. Okay. Up to date. Hey, Dad, I'm studying in the Boston Tea Party. Hey, Dad, I'm studying the Boston Tea Party in school. Do you know what happened? I wish I knew, but I wasn't invited. I'm telling you, these are the world's crappiest jokes. Okay. I'm throwing them out. In fact, I might take them, put them all together, set them on fire, because the garbage isn't inappropriate enough. No, I'm going to be lazy. Fire bad. Okay. They're not dad jokes, they're faux pas jokes. Let's see. All right, I'm out, but I will be back tomorrow for Friday because that's what we do on Friday. We celebrate the end of the week, and hopefully you'll join us for that with a round of new questions and, stuff and things. So have a great day. We'll do the traffic song because it is a ritual. It is a must do. And drive safe, sober, and don't park anywhere that you're not supposed to.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
Okay, so two things. First things first, somebody's arguing about insurance stuff. What is this? What are they saying? You don't know this is an argument with Tracy? What is the Tracy argument? I can't scroll back. Anyway, they're arguing about, SV says you need to be under the policy of the car. If you own the policy, then you're fine. What are we talking about? Someone wants to know if since starting my podcast of the traffic offenses in the city gone down. Can't measure that really, because for the people that are participating and involved and doing and their life got better, they may be safer. But the people who've never heard anything or know nothing about this, it's hard to affect those people. Hopefully, people take the messaging here and share it with others. You know, they know stuff and things, now they share it. So when am I going to remake the song and sing it myself? We've talked about doing some traffic, karaoke. We'll see. Maybe one day. What is this? My 4-month-old got hospitalized following his doctor appointment. It's been rough. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You'll have to tell me later what's going on. By the way, if you want to talk later, go to telegram.trafficcop.ca. I keep wanting to add the Ask a Traffic Cop. It's trafficcop.ca is the link tree, but if you go to telegram.trafficcop.ca, you can join the Telegram group with Akela and Michael and my wife and who else is in there? There's more people in there. Oh, and Chase is in there. We chat outside, but you can reach me that way. Let's see. Cool. Dre Studios and the Grinch. Awesome. Thank you. There was something else I was going to talk about, but then I saw this side conversation. Okay, they're trying to say you can't borrow a car unless you're named on the policy or have your own insurance. Yeah, they are incorrect, but maybe they're in a province or state where that is the law. But in the province of Ontario, you can drive the vehicle is registered, not the individual. The individual is listed as a primary driver. The rates are based on that driver, but they can lend the car to anybody that is a licensed driver. Their rates will get destroyed when somebody else smacks their car up, but it's legal. The car is insured and you can lend the vehicle out to somebody unless there's a condition on the vehicle that says you can't. And that could be what they have. Maybe they have a thing that, that's different for them. Anyway, Tracy is once again right because Tracy's awesome. Gabe Ryan is thinking about hosting a park and chill car meet in Wasaga. Is that legal? I would, if you're doing it with cars that are modified, I'd be careful because I would talk to the local authorities before you plan any of that. Make sure you have permission to be on the property you're going to, because big events there tend to get shut down, and they got some court order to inspect cars on the way in. Like, you may have to trailer your cars there because if they're modified and illegal, you're probably not going very far. Anyway, that being said, I went a little longer than I thought I would. Wonderful day to all, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for Friday.